what does it take for you to be ready and available, just, right off the bench to come into a game like this and perform?
I think it's just every day we go to train, it's just focusing like you're the starter. And so when you need to step in and play those minutes, it's kind of like the same thing as last year. When you step in those minutes, you have to be mentally prepared. And kind of like I said last year, it's doing all these mental reps at these games and being ready for this environment and taking full concentration into each training so that when you have to do it for 90 minutes, it's not the first time you've done it.
And Will, you were able to really settle into this game as a unit. They start pressuring you, and you guys kind of get back a little bit of possession. How would you describe your 55 minutes and the team's effort today?
Yeah, I felt good. I think I'm still working towards full fitness, so I kind of knew the minutes I was going to play. I was trying to push for more, but it is what it is. But I think to start the game, I kind of had to be an outlet. Got fouled a few times just because they were on top of us. Their center backs were kind of stepping into midfield and playing pretty high up the field, so that kind of made it a little difficult on us. But we were able to weather the storm at the beginning. Like I said, I was trying to just get possession, get fouls, get restarts, and then we kind of settled into the game, started combining a little bit, kind of found spaces. The rest of the game 1-1 stuff.
Thanks, Nico, for your questions. Next in the queue is Jeremiah O'Shane. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
I guess this is mainly for Will, but maybe Steph can weigh in on this too. You alluded to this just now, but what was Austin doing early on in the match that, those first 10 minutes were pretty tough, but then it seemed like over the next, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, you guys were able to sort of like actually assert some control over it. I guess what changed and what did you think about that first 10 minutes?
Yeah, they. What I noticed was their back four is very narrow. One of their center backs always steps forward and kind of plays alongside the six, and then both their outside backs also step forward and kind of play inside for outlets to kind of swing the ball when they have possession. So I think it took us a little bit to figure that out structurally, but once we got that, we knew I think Leo did a good job of staying high and wide and creating space and making them have to respect the counterattack for him out there, and I think that made them kind of be a little more passive with how they're going to step forward. But once we kind of settled down and made that first pass out of their initial pressure, we were able to maintain some possession in the midfield and then get them fully back into their defensive shape. And they're a team that wants the ball. They don't want to have to defend for extended periods, and I think we did a good job in the first half of making them do that.
I think building out of the back they were pressing hard, and so it's just finding those spaces, understanding where the spaces were, and after the first 10 minutes, we were able to do that.
Next question to Jada Evans. Jada, go ahead.
Thank you. This question is for Will. You started the season wanting to, stay healthy and be able to contribute. How did you kind of keep yourself, focused on that goal, even though that you had to start off with an injury and kind of extended from last year's injury?
Yeah, so like I said, I wanted to stay healthy, and then I picked up a calf injury in preseason. So sometimes when it rains, it pours, but we're past that. We're not looking back towards that. We're staying healthy from here on forward, and like you said, just gotta keep grinding every day. Sometimes it can be hard mentally when you're injured, but you just gotta get through it because getting back on the score sheet, getting back in the team makes it all worth it. Just every day, like Cleveland alluded to earlier, every day doing what you can to better yourself, make sure you're ready, because there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes for leading up to these games. So it's always rewarding. I wish we would have got 3 points, but from a personal perspective, I'm happy to be back out there.
As a reminder, if you have a question for either Steph or Will, please hit that raise hand function button and we'll get around to you. I'm seeing 2 hands raised, and I believe they're both follow-ups. Jeremiah, the first is from you. Go ahead.
Sorry, I forgot to take it down.
Okay, no problem. Jada, do you have a follow-up?
Yes. I wanted to ask for Steph, can you kind of from your view, what happened with the goal conceded? It seemed like one of those kind of scramble things that was hard to recover from, but what from your view did you see?
To be honest with you, not a lot. there was a cross to the back post that I was getting across. It was a good ball. I think Obed was there, just wasn't able to get to it, and they headed it back in. And I was working myself back across the goal, and then like you said, it was a scramble. I didn't see a whole lot, and then I saw the ball, go to that first post, and I tried to get over, but it was, I saw the ball late, and I couldn't get there. I haven't seen the goal again yet. I talked to some guys, but I unfortunately can't talk about it too much.
Maz, did you have a follow-up?
I do, if I may.
Go for it.
Will, yeah, thanks. Well, when you're playing that hold-up position, is there a balancing act in terms of you not wanting to go too far back if the pass isn't getting to you, and having some patience to wait, like what happened when you finally got the outlet pass, caused that foul that settled the game down? Is that a balancing act you have to play there?
Yeah, Schmitz stays on top of me because sometimes, all center forwards, when you're not getting the ball, your tendency is to drop more into midfield and just get your touches. Leading up to the game and during the game, you kept telling me to stay high, stay between the center backs. So, like you said, it's a little balance of both. See how much I can get away with dropping into the midfield to get touches, but also you got to stay high to be an outlet for the team when we're under pressure, because if I'm dropped too far, then there's nobody high that can kind of, help settle the game and draw fouls like that. So, I think you described it perfectly. It's finding the right moments of when you can stay high, but also finding times when you can drop in. I had a few combinations with Albert, JP dropping in and kind of help get the game flow going a little better.
Thanks.
Jada, did you have another question?
Yeah, just for both of y'all, you, for this first stretch of games, Smetcher's played a lot of different combinations for starting, and I just wanted y'all's opinion. Obviously, you're two of the ones that are new into starting, but how do you kind of feel that you guys as a team have dealt with plugging in and getting some of these results here?
This is the deepest team I've been a part of. So I think we have guys that have a lot of experience. We have guys that probably can start on a lot of teams. So I think the flexibility to be able to do that, Spencer's using it perfectly, and I think we're showing that guys are capable of stepping up and doing it. So, I think that's something that makes the whole roster competitive every day at training, every day on the field, and our job is to make hard decisions for Schmitz, and that's just the way our team's built, and that's a really good thing to have in this league.
Yeah, I think the depth plays a lot into it, and there's just a lot of trust within the team. Everybody trusts each other, so that when somebody steps in that hasn't been starting, or when I step in, I know that the team trusts me, and that gives me confidence. And at the end of the day, it's a confident team, and that's where we're going to find some results.
Mickey, we'll let you close us out as we get ready to welcome Brian Schmetzer in, but go ahead and ask your question, please.
Thanks, Alex. Speaking of the results, I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on how you think this first little portion of the season went. Obviously, you had some struggles in the first part of the MLS season, but you've obviously been successful in CCL, and then you finished it up with a couple of results here in your past three games. So just kind of your thoughts on how this first stretch of games went.
I think it's difficult with Champions League going on, but like Will said, this is a very, very deep team, and I think sometimes, adding Albert in, he's a very, very big piece of the team, but he's a new piece, and sometimes maybe it takes a couple of weeks for that, for us to really figure each other out and work well together. I think that we have a very, very bright future and a bright rest of the season ahead of us, because this team, we know how to grind out points, and I think when push comes to shove and our backs are against the wall, we come up big, and I think that's carried us through Champions League. And I think, the number of games has been very, very tough coming off preseason. We have a lot of guys that played international duty, so they didn't have much of an off season, with a few guys injured. So we've had some adversity, but I think at the end of the day, we're on the up and up.
Yeah, look, maybe we don't have as many points in league play as we would like, but I'm not worried about this team at all. I think we have the quality, the depth, the right attitude that, come the end of the year, we're going to be right up there competing. We still have, we're in semifinals of Champions League. Our goal is to win Champions League, be the first MLS team to do that. So I think we're balancing a lot of different aspects right now, and I think we're doing a really good job at that.
Okay, Will, Steph, thanks again for joining us. We appreciate your time. Safe travels home, and we'll get ready to welcome in head coach Brian Schmetzer next.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Sure. Straight to questions. Okay. Maz, go ahead.
Yeah, Brian, I know you could talk about every player out there and what a team effort this was, but I was wondering if you just highlight two. One, in terms of what Will Bruin brings to this team when it's under attack, and then you're able to hit him with an outlet pass that can kind of calm the team down. And obviously, Stephen Cleveland's ability to show maturity in the line of fire towards the end of the game there.
Sure. Will did a good job holding up play in different moments, Maz, for sure. But, you know, his goal scoring is what we rely on him for. I thought our actual play out of the back in the first half was some of the best that it's been all year. You know, I think there was a lot of people to go around there for credit on that, but I thought we had good spells of possession. So it wasn't just relying on Will to be a big target and fighting two guys to give us possession. So I thought that was the case there. And then as far as Stephen Cleveland was concerned, that was a tremendous performance. I don't know what it looked like to you guys on TV, but that was an exciting game. I mean, they had some chances. We came up big with some defending, some good goalkeeping, grit, determination. We had our chances at the other end, but certainly Will and Cleveland had big parts of this game. And it's, just reward for those two guys to keep working, keep grinding. And when they get their opportunity, they can show what they're capable of.
Next question, we'll go over to Nico Moreno. Nico, go ahead.
Coach, two questions. One, what's the overall feeling for you? I mean, it's a tough game, a lot of rotation, but you did have a lot of chances. So I kind of wanted to get your take on the draw overall. And second, you end up pulling Albert Rusnak out of the midfield. You add Rowe, Sissoko, New who comes out. What was the thought process on that? And did that work the way you wanted it? Thank you.
Well, a draw is like a loss, Nico. You've heard me say that many times before. As far as Albert is concerned, there was nothing there with Albert. It's just the way the game manifested itself. There was a little bit of a surprise because Nuhu, we thought he could gut it out, a little tightness in his adductor. Switching to, back line of five, was a little, risky, but, I thought we still created some chances. In transition moments. So, that's the reason for it.
Thank you.
Okay, Jeremiah, I see your hand raised next. Go for it.
Yeah. What do you look for in this these next 10 days off? What are the priorities that you're kind of looking at?
This training, getting the guys back. Getting guys like Nico, Raul, Jimmy, those guys back, and getting Will a little bit fitter. Just getting the team together. We'll work on individual stuff. There's not a lot of room for team tactics, Jeremiah, because we're going to be missing key pieces. So basically, it's just kind of a recovery week and just working on individual things. And then, the build up to Minnesota, we might do some tactical things, smaller group tactics leading up to that. It's normal stuff. I mean, we've been to these international windows before where we've lost, 10 or 11 guys.
A reminder, if you have a question for head coach Brian Schmetzer, please hit the raise hand function button on Zoom. We will go over to Jada Evans next. Jada, go ahead.
Thanks. Brian, I wanted to ask a little bit about the way that y'all started, or the way that Austin started, with a lot of pressure. Seemed, a little bit like Leon in facing that. So is that kind of the way that you assess that? And then just evaluation of the way you guys handled that pressure early on.
I thought we handled that pressure very well. We knew it was coming. Their coach had said it in the press. Their expectation was they were going to look at or face a fatigued team. The way you fight off fatigue, Jada, is if you keep the ball from your opponent, you rest with the ball. And so again, after that first 10, 12 minutes, I thought you saw our team possess the ball in moments very, very well. The forwards that were trying to chase and press us higher up the field got tired. They started to get fatigued. And it was one of the reasons why we, scored the goal in the first half, was because I thought we had very, very good moments in our possession in the first half.
Okay, we'll keep it on the first-time questions, and I see there may be one or two follow-ups, but for first-timers, Felipe, I see your hand raised. Please go ahead.
Coach Brian, the first game, or the game in Austin, the last game, your lineup presented a few younger players, and looks like at this time you line up again a few younger players like Jackson Reagan, Obed, and then came the other guys. So what can you tell me about these lineups that you are presenting, where you include younger players and then with the mix with the senior players?
Well, it's just, I don't exactly know how to answer that, Felipe. When the young players deserve to play, they're going to play. When the senior players deserve to play, they're going to play. We're going to need everybody. We've got Champions League games, and you got league play, then you have Open Cup, then you have, other tournaments. You have injuries through the course of the year. You have international issues. We're going to need everybody. So the young players have to step forward and help their teammates. The senior guys have to step forward and help their teammates. And the middle guys have to step forward and help their teammates.
Thank you.
Okay, time for a few follow-ups. Nico, did you have one? I see your hand is still raised.
Yes. Two quick ones, Coach. One, Leo Chu seems to have today one of the better performances I've seen him have, both defensively and on the ball. Wanted to get your take on him. And kind of regarding what Felipe had asked, you're in a unique position in where you have three very talented players, young players at the same position. Josh and Obed have looked really good this season, but Danny has kind of fallen in the back burner a little bit. How do you manage that to make sure that the player is still, ready and available and mentally okay with the way things go in that regard?
Well, Danny's a mentally strong kid. I don't think you have to worry about him, Nico, at all. He'll get a game with the new league in Defiance against RSL on the weekend. He'll get minutes in certain games. Yes, there's competition, but that's pro sports. That's just the way it is. As far as Leo Chu is concerned, very good performance. I thought his defending was good. We all wished he would have put that chance away in the first half. But overall, you saw a lot of good things from Leo Chu, which, again, you got talk about young players. If he plays like that, he's going to push his way for more minutes.
Okay, Jason Mitchell, I see you've got your hand raised, and since you haven't gotten one in yet, definitely want you to get one through. Go ahead and ask a question.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Coach, this feels like sort of a natural closing of the first major chapter of the season with the break coming up. How do you feel about where you're at compared to maybe where you would have hoped you'd be back in the preseason?
Well, okay, maybe we could have said 2-2 had we been able to close this game out. What was our league record? Champions League so far has been good. I'd call it a success. It's hard. It's a hard league. if we learned anything from last year, you can start off well, but then you have to end well as, at the same time you think about stuff like that. So for me, what I would tell you is that, again, we've missed some critical pieces for some extended periods of time. So this team, you've yet to see this team. I mean, Raul played a few minutes here and there. Nico, Chu coming on, Obed coming. How are we going to make rotations there? Nico asked me about Albert. I think Albert's been great, but has the whole team been together for an extended period of time? No, they haven't. So I think it's a little early to make any sort of determinations. All I know is that team, those players in that locker room there, have gutted out some, good performances against some very good teams. I'll give a lot of credit to Josh Wolf. He's made tremendous strides with Austin. That was a good team that we faced today. And we came away from home where, it's hard to win away from home, and came out with a point. So that for me is a success.
Thanks, Coach.
Jason, thanks. Jeremiah, I see you still got your hand up and you're the only one. So if you have a follow-up, why don't you close us out?
Yeah, I just wanted to get what you thought of Jackson Reagan's performance, especially these last two games where he's been in the middle of a defense that's had to, weather some pretty significant attacks, especially towards the end of games. Just what your assessment of him is, and where he stands after this a handful of performances.
Well, he's been very, very good. I thought a lot of the possession in the first half was through Jackson's side. His ability to, find passes in between the lines, the pace of his pass, his decision-making on where the ball is supposed to go, even in the smallest detail, like on the front foot of Alex Roldan, so he can, progress the ball higher up the field, not to his left foot where he has to come back and be put under pressure. So there was a lot of good things with Jackson. There was a couple moments in the second half where maybe he felt a little bit too comfortable, and then, we're watching the replay there on Ring on that long throw in where he clanks it off the post. I mean, Jackson's got a release. He's got a kid in front of him. So there is a learning curve there, Jeremiah. But overall, he's way exceeded our expectations. And, that's another name of a young player that you can throw into the mix as deserving of more minutes.
Okay, Brian, thank you very much for your responses. Safe travels home.
Everybody.
We'll see you next week. Media, if you have any needs,